Very well, does it? My name's Adrian, and I'd like to I'm going to present, tell you a little story to begin with, and it's a vision of the future, supposedly, in theory. I haven't got any kind of flashy sort of graphics and sort of CG jetpacks or whatever and things like that. It's just a load of kind of really, well, current or old photos. So you're going to have to kind of use your imaginations and sort of just run with whatever I'm talking about. And like all visions of the future, this isn't going to happen. This is guaranteed to be wrong. That's about the only guarantee I can give you. But basically, yeah, I'll tell you a story, and then I'll kind of come on to why I'm telling you the story. So, it's a warm Indian summer kind of morning in September 2020. And I'm kind of on my daily commute, walking down Upper Duke Street. And as I get down towards the Chinese Arch, my phone buzzes in my pocket. I pull it out and look at it. And it's a location reminder that I set the night before. That's kind of going to, it tells me, oh, remember to pick up some pastries for the meeting you've got today. So I'm like, yeah, forgot about that. So I cross over to kind of divert my route slightly and head into the Banksy Bakery. So yeah, hopefully there are some Liverpool references that people will get. Which, I mean, its name isn't the Banksy Bakery. Sam, who kind of set it all up now, called it the White Bread House, which is kind of a play on the name of the pub that it was originally. But everybody just called it the Banksy Bakery because that's just like a nickname that's stuck. So I go in there and grab some of his sort of Danishes and stuff. And also I'm tempted by the soda bread because that's really, really nice. I think that'll do me good. That'll be good for lunch. So get those from Sam, head over the road, swipe my Walrus card against the access system to get into the building. I mean, it's not tied into Mersey travel and stuff, but we're just using it as an access card because it does the right sorts of things. And I head into the Does Liverpool building. So Does Liverpool, well, basically when I kind of walk in through the door. And then, it's all far too wordy. I've written it all down. There we go. Yeah. Basically, Does Liverpool at the moment, if anyone doesn't know it, is where I work, and it's in the Gostins building on Hanover Street. And so in 2013, we outgrew Gostins, and we moved into the Europleasure International, and so took over some of that. And then over the kind of intervening couple of years, we sort of grew and expanded. And then we took over the Swedish hotel as well. And so now we've got all of this kind of area that you can see here. And so I kind of come in through into the ground floor, and my sort of site, I can see lathes and CNC machines and laser cutters, the big laser cutters at least. They're all down on the ground floor. It's all the heavy machinery. And it's great. It's the familiar sight of people working on interesting little projects. There's lots of artists, freelancers, people like that, just kind of working on stuff, using the facilities. I mean, I don't venture any further into the ground floor, the sort of workshop area, and I kind of head upstairs. The first floor has got fewer of the machines, there's no lathes, things like that. There's still some smaller laser cutters. There are more people. It's kind of open plan, mostly with desks and things. There are people working from laptops. There's also somebody in the corner soldering away at something like a little circuit board. And a couple of meeting rooms dotted about, and in one of them there's a load of kind of blue prototyping foam kind of scattered about the place because there's some people working on something. And I kind of stopped by one of the desks because there's a little web design agency who are based out of there. And so I stopped to see them and let them know that I've got some pastries for our meeting where we're going to go through and look through the revamp of my company website kind of a bit later on that morning. And so then I head up to the top floor, which is where my office is, or my desk, really. It's kind of basically my company, McEwen Limited, has got the whole of the top floor and some of the kind of floor below it. It's all a bit kind of liquid as we kind of grow and shrink a bit and take over bits more space, and kind of, it's all very fluid. It kind of fits in with the quite open approach that everybody at Does takes. And basically, we're doing great guns. It's 2020. We've been kind of going for years building the Internet of Things. So there's Bublino sat over on the shelf, kind of still looking out for mentions of does like he does at the moment. And there's just a whole host of other kind of devices connected to the internet that we make that are products that are just on our shelf, kind of showing off what we do. And so I sit down at my desk, and one of the project leads who sits at the kind of desk nearby, she gets a phone call from the factory to say that the printed circuit boards that she'd ordered the other day, they're ready for her now, and she can go and pick them up. So she's like, oh, that's cool. You know, grabs her keys, and then within a minute she's kind of out unlocking one of the public transport bikes that's by the Chinese Arch, and ready to head over and pick up the printed circuit boards. Heading down Great George Street. I mean, in a couple of minutes, she's reached the factory. I mean, you know, we needed a bit more space than just, it's mainly the offices. We've got some prototyping stuff in Does Liverpool in town, but basically where we've got the kind of printed circuit board manufacturing and the lots more CNC machines that are building the products for us, they're all based out here in the Coleman's Fireproof Depository. I mean, basically we could have got all this stuff made in China and stuff and things like that, but CNC machines and printed circuit board pick and place machines and robots cost as much to run over here as they do in China, and we can keep, you know, the people who do supervise them. There's still some work for people to supervise them, and at least we know what kind of, you know, what sort of working conditions they've got and things like that, and it provides some local jobs. And some of the building here is given up to Does Toxteth, because, you know, not everybody wants to trek into town to come and play around and build interesting ththings. And so we've got a bit of a space here so that people working in the place can nip upstairs and play with electronics during their lunch break or whatever, or in the evenings and weekends. So, back at Does Liverpool, I've had my meeting. That all went really well. Yeah, the website's looking great, and I'm thinking it's kind of lunchtime. So basically, I stick my head into the Map Me Out office, where John's working, and he similarly is kind of, you know, Map Me Out is much bigger than it is now. They were with McEwen Limited as they kind of led the charge really in making Liverpool into an Internet of Things hotspot, because it's kind of an emerging, well, in 2020 it's not an emerging thing anymore. Right now it's an emerging thing. But we've kind of taken the lead, and Liverpool's just one of the places in the world to kind of come and do this whole connecting, taking computing power and putting it into sort of everyday devices and kind of small, well, things like Bublino and stuff. And John was part of that with the stuff that he was doing as well. So he's got the Swedish hotel. I've got kind of the Europleasure International top floor. He's got the top floor of the Swedish hotel because he wanted the views of the Anglican Cathedral. So you know, he's free for lunch. So and it's a nice day. So we're like, yeah, sorry, we'll head up onto the roof, to the roof terrace, and like all the south-facing sort of sides of the roof are covered in solar panels because obviously the kind of climate change has kind of moved on a step, and things are a bit different now, and there's a lot more kind of solar panels and that sort of thing around in the place. And so, yeah, basically just everywhere we can that's all facing south, we've got solar panels on to provide some of the power that we're using in the building. And then the rest of the space, the sort of flatter area, is given over to a little urban garden, and it's kind of growing, sort of raised beds, growing fruit and veg and stuff like that. And that's all managed basically by Liverpool Urban Farm. And they've got a whole load of different sort of sites like that dotted around the city, that they kind of farm and provide local fruit and veg, and employment for people who have to go around and kind of tend the farms and stuff. And some of the guys in the Does community are involved with that as well, because they provide some of the tech that kind of does monitoring and automatic watering and some stuff like that, so that it's easier for people to easier for them to manage the fact that this, you know, it's not one big farm that's in one place that you can just run a tractor up and down and stuff. It's dotted around the city, but that makes, you know, the tech makes that possible, and kind of provides some more colour and interesting things in different bits. So some of the stuff that got flattened out in kind of just off Smithdown Road and things in the new Heartlands, that's been just, you know, given over to farms now, and there's some nice kind of urban farming going on there. So I pick a couple of tomatoes, the sort of last ones, and some salad leaves and things, and go over to a corner of the area and drop them into a little set of scales that weighs how much stuff I've just picked, and I swipe my Walrus card again to sort of signify that I've bought it, and that just gets, that'll be added to my monthly account that I'm paying the urban farm for the food that I'm going to eat. So it's really fresh. And John and I just sit there, and as we're kind of sat having our lunch, John spots one of the Liverpool network. They've got these little electric trike vans that kind of go around the city, and that just reminds him that the Liverpool network's reached as far as Garston, where he lives, and it's great that it's kind of basically providing public Wi-Fi across the whole city. And it sort of started out as this little collaboration between Livelug and Bold Street Coffee and Leaf to provide like free Wi-Fi for Bold Street, and then it just kind of took off, and they've extended out, and now they've got a little, well, not so little factory out in Everton that takes kind of school leavers in, shows them how to program all the Wi-Fi hotspots to be able to kind of roll them out and then go and install them, and it's become like a national sort of success story where they're doing it around the country, going and teaching people and seeding these little companies everywhere to kind of help this and provide the sort of open Wi-Fi. And it's great to see that kind of coming from Liverpool. And I think, and then by the time we've kind of finished chatting about that and thinking about how Liverpool's changed from the sort of, since we started Does in kind of 2011, it's just amazing what's kind of happened in the city in those intervening 9 years. And then of course we need to go back and get back to work because all this sort of like running our businesses and stuff is like living in Liverpool now in 2020. It's kind of it's busy but it's fun. So that's just, I don't know, it's an idea, it's sort of a theory, it's a possible way that Liverpool could evolve over the next 8 years, and it's one that I'm going to be working to try and get something along those lines happening, because I think it would be good, but I think it would be useful for more people to be kind of feeding in these sorts of ideas and thinking about what the city should be like, what do we want the city to be like. What could the city be like? How could it evolve? And that's what's kind of led me to the to basically announcing